Dude, you're going old man.
Super old man. I can still feel that hammy. I feel that hammy right here from the... right back there. So Jonathan is getting old, and I need a new, improved situation in my life. This is Internet Church.
Justin!
Hey!
So, a few changes in your life recently.
Yeah, I got a haircut.
Yeah, you look great. That's not what I was talking about. I was actually talking about you becoming a father.
That's right, I forgot all about that.
You forgot about Maddie, right?
Life is different with a kid, it's true.
Tell me about it. What's the difference now that he's around and alive?
Dude, you start to understand when people say, like, everything is different. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, like, your whole focus on life is completely centered around someone else. And it's kind of a scary but beautiful thing.
What was your life focused on before, Justin?
Myself. Or at least trying to keep myself alive. And now it's like all about the kid. But there's been some changes in your life too. In fact, you got an announcement for us.
I do have an announcement. Roll the video. So big time news. I'm going to be a dad. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but ready or not, it's happening, isn't it, Justin?
It's just one of those things.
So
You can't stop it.
it's one of those things. A new person, a new body is going to change the whole game. Matter of fact, little baby has already been changing a few things. But what if I told you that here is the new covenant? The fact that a new body exists is the image that we have for the new covenant. Let me explain. So if I go up here to my trusty board and I want to take you back to the Old Testament story that's found in Exodus chapter 24. You see it in Numbers chapter 7 as well. It alludes to it. Deuteronomy 5, there's an allusion, but Exodus chapter 24, you have Moses. And then you have the people, right? And amongst the people, Moses is reading the law of God and they're hearing it. And then Moses actually sprinkles the people with blood. So it's wild, but that's what happens. There's a sprinkling of blood. Read it, Exodus 24, I believe, right? And he sprinkles, and in doing that, he ratifies the covenant. So, meaning what? That from the vantage point of God, right, down to the people. You can see that, Justin? You got that? All right.
Looks good.
You got God down to the people through Moses, and the people back to God. They are now in covenant, and that covenant has been ratified. The blood has been sprinkled. They're in agreement. So what happens? There is a history where the people promise to walk according to the way God has said through Moses. If you've read the Old Testament, you know that this does not work out. There's a plot twist. What's that plot twist? These people constantly fail. They're disobedient. They don't actually walk according to the covenant. They walk in unbelief, and God looks down and he cannot find faithfulness because they have all fallen short of the glory of God. Not one of them is faithful. No, not one. And then the gospel is what? Same scenario. So you have God, right? And then you have this intercessor, again, like Moses, right? You have this intercessor here, and you have the people. You have the people. You have the people. However, the focus is no longer on the faultless, on the people that are not faultless. They always found fault. You always found fault with the people. They were disobedient. In this one, you now have a faithful intercessor. And this faithful intercessor is even greater than Moses. This faithful intercessor is none other than Jesus himself. Here's what's so dope, is that because Jesus is both human, so he's from the people, but he's also God, right? Through him, right there, there is a connectivity of the people to God and God to the people through the very body of Jesus. So when Jesus is breaking the bread on the night he's betrayed, when he's drinking the wine on the night when he was betrayed, and he says, "This is my body and it's broken for you." Why? Because in his body, oh, listen to me, in his body, he's bringing an end to the Adam 1 reality. The body that was proper to Adam 1 that stands under condemnation will and must die. Boom. That's what happens here. However, there is a resurrection. And when he resurrects as a human on the other side of death, free from sin, but he's also God. And now in his own person, he has united God and the human race in a body. And the fact that that body exists, there is a new covenant. Why? Because the fault can no longer land on the people, because their intercessor is now faultless, and how he is, so are they in this world. And he is the very yes from God to us, and back from us through him, we say our amen to God. This is the new covenant. The new covenant is Jesus himself as a living being who has united us with God. This is why Hebrews 8 is so dope when it dives into Hebrews 9. That in the Hebrews 9, we'll get there in the move this week, that a new reality is inaugurated through Jesus. He comes into the holy places, inaugurating this reality of a faultless human, clean, separated from sinners, beyond death. And now because his body exists, we have an eternal, unbreakable covenant with God because of a new body. That's just good news, man. And every single time, this was so dope, every single time a new baby comes into this world, that new baby is an unbreakable covenant with the people who made that baby. So think about this. When Justin and Emily didn't know each other, they were separated from one another. They didn't know they existed. Then Justin and Emily came and got to know each other. If you don't know that story, you should hear it. They met on speed dating. Justin, you should tell them that story about y'all meeting on speed dating.
Maybe next time.
Right? And then they met, and then they fell in love. They got married, and they loved each other so much that one time they came together, and 9 months later, they had to give that love a name because he existed in a new body. His name is Maddie. Boom. That's lovely Maddie, who we love. And his new body is the union of Emily and Justin that can never, ever be undone as long as Maddie is alive. That's what we have in Jesus Christ, a union with God through Jesus that can never be undone. And his obedience is given to us through his life. His faithfulness is continually given to us through his life. His righteousness is ours. So he gives us this new covenant. Hebrews 8, we have a new thing on our hearts. The law is written on our hearts because through his body, he's given it to us in the spirit. And this is why the new covenant is so dope, y'all. So here in your groups, let's just have a reflection on what this actually means in our lives, right? We got some questions that we have on our sheets that we want to explore, and just be excited that we have this new body that is Jesus. And one day we will have bodies like him at the resurrection. New covenant, baby. It's the best.
She didn't even take it out of the bag. Oh my goodness,